Nick Serokay Key Lonely that Yamo a king he malan in that Konya Serokay Kosa Yella Hawan.
Today our Charya Sharo hasn't been back as yet, so he has come here to take his place. This is his fifth time giving a discourse at this center at this time. The discourse that he is going to give is very, very easy. As the retreat is drawing to a close, it is better that the talks are easy. There will be two parts of his talk. So today's talk will be divided into two parts. The first part will deal with the 15 ways leading to the realization of path consciousness, Mega Jnana. That's what I gather, actually, 15 things. And the second part is three things of ignorance and one thing about knowing. Three things about not knowing and one thing about knowing. Whoever cherishes staying in the path consciousness and the fruit of liberation need to know these 15 things. This is the talk given by the Buddha to his son Rahula, Ashin Rahula, or Elder Rahula.
Shin Yahula, at that Konaniyaga, Savio, Shimbula, the Tana Hotel Winawari. Jahan can be ma. They are two Yaviro Yahanda Chitongwe. He was given the low ordination as novitiated at the age of 7, and then later he became an arhat. Pandita Zamni Yewada Zamni I Zamni Konini Yugrega Yahanda Chitongwe. Time Shin Yahula Konini Ba Ayuma Shibima Yahandam Chibu. Although he was given the low ordination at the age of 7, he did not attain arhatship, just like other novices who attain arhatship at the age of 7, such as Pandita Samanera and Revada Samanera. Yes, I have seen it. Tuzado accepted Shinyahula. So this Buddha's son himself, at the age of 7, did not attain arhatship. Instead, after he was given the higher ordination at the age of 20, was able to become arhat. This talk about 15 things to be known by those who wishes to realize the path, the consciousness and the fruit of liberation is the same talk given by the Buddha to Rahula to attain arhatship. The great Tiatu Yaludo, who hoarded the Sangava Yogimia, Lena Kijami. So this is very remarkable that 15 ways leading to the arahantship as given by the Buddha to Rahula should be noted and followed by the yogis.
Number 1 Tadhataya Mashida Yunki Yet Mashida Buku Shankiyame. Number 2 Tadhataya Yunki Mu Piwara Buku Net Punking Setayame. Number 3 Tadhataya go Pipoa Zidade Tayamia go Lilayame, Lexayame, Najayame.
Now the first 3 things out of these 15 ways. This is about faith, saddha. The first way is abstaining from those who do not possess saddha. That is, dissociate oneself with those who does not possess saddha. That is the first point. And the second point is to associate with those who possess saddha, or complete saddha. The third one is to listen and study, learn those things leading to faith, saddha, or listen to the inspiring talks to inspire oneself with faith, saddha.
Tadhataya Mashida Puku Miane, Pongpin Sasani, Mimi Leve, Tadhataya Mashida Puku Mialu, Jangodavade, Tatsu Vido, Mimi Tadhataya Mashida Puku, Chekodavare, Tajamu Tadhataya Mashida Puku Miao Sanchaku Ate.
Because if one associates with one who doesn't possess saddha, then this can affect one's faith and confidence. So that because the one who you associate with, your company, your friend, has no saddha, then you will not also have any chance to possess saddha.
Namani Tiago Pion, Tadhataya Piwara Pukune, Pavilo Pony Sasaya the Lady Soro, Mimiga, Yinga Tadhataya Machida Puku, the Moho Tadhataya never a Puku, Pini. Tadhataya Piwara Puku Miane, Pongpin Sasan, Dunia Kajaro, Tugani Biro, Tati Pusta Biro, Mimi Leve, Tadhataya are found the Puku Kelanande.
If you associate with those who possess saddha, then if your saddha is weak in the beginning, or you have no saddha, then you will be able to be inspired by your friends, by associating with your friend through his discussions, through talks, and so on, and also his behaviors, so that you will become inspired and come to possess saddha.
Tadhataya go Piposi Dade Tiago Lilare, Najara Suro. Tadhataya Piposi Dade Tiago Najaya Yin. Tadhataya Tubolare. Mimiga Ayinga Tadhataya Sida Puku, Chini. Tadhataya go Pisi Dade Tiago Najaya Yin. Tadhataya Mimima Pumudo Lonkelare. A Tadhataya Lonkelare so she. Tadanaro Toyo Mimi Dova Dama Cumiare.
The reason why you should listen and learn or study things which inspire faith, which instill faith, is that if you don't possess saddha in the beginning, then by listening or reading materials or discussing with people, discussions, things which can instill faith, then you will be able to develop faith. And if you already have faith, but not enough, then by reading or listening or learning those which instill faith, then your faith will enhance. That's why by listening or learning to instill faith is good for both the sasana and yourself.
Natapuga Uriya Mashida Puku, Pin the Puku Mel Sankiyame. Number 8. Number 9. Uriya
ရှိတဲ့လုံလဝိရိယဇွဲကောင်းတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်များနဲ့ပေါင်းသင်းဆက်ဆံပြီးတော့နေရမယ်။နံပါတ်3လုံလဝိရိယကိုဖြစ်ပွားစေတတ်တဲ့စာပေကိုလေ့လာရမယ်။တရားကိုနာကြားရမယ်။
And the next group is the Virya group. The first one is Saddha group, and next group is Virya group. In the same line as the Saddha, one should abstain or dissociate oneself from those who does not possess any virya. That means you must avoid indolent people, lazy people, sluggish people. And then, secondly, you should associate with energetic people. Thirdly, you should listen, learn, study things leading to the exertion of energy.
ဘာလဲဆိုတော့ဝိရိယမရှိတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်နဲ့အတူနေရင်မိမိကဝိရိယရှိတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ဖြစ်စေကမှုဓာတ်ကုဆက်ပြီးတော့မိမိလည်းပဲဝိရိယမရှိတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ပြင်းရည်တဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ဖြစ်တတ်ပါတယ်။ဒါကြောင့်မို့ဝိရိယမရှိတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်များကိုရှောင်ရှားဖို့လိုအပ်တယ်။မိမိကဝိရိယနည်းတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ဖြစ်စေကမှုဝိရိယရှိတဲ့လုံလဝိရိယဇွဲကောင်းတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်များနဲ့ပေါင်းသင်းဆက်ဆံနေရရင်မိမိဟာတော့အဲ့ဒီဓာတ်ကိုကုဆက်ပြီးတော့မိမိလည်းပဲလုံလဝိရိယဇွဲကောင်းတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်တွေဖြစ်သွားနိုင်တယ်။ဝိရိယကိုတိုးပွားစေတတ်တဲ့တရားကိုနာကြားရရင်လုံလဝိရိယဆိုတာတကယ်လိုအပ်တဲ့တရားပဲလို့မိမိကသဘောပေါက်နားလည်တဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မို့လုံလဝိရိယကိုဖြစ်စေတတ်တဲ့တရားကိုထပ်ထပ်နာကြားရရင်မိမိမှာလည်းပဲလုံလဝိရိယတရားတွေရှိတဲ့ပုံပြီးလွန်ကိတ်ဖြစ်ပေါ်လာနိုင်တယ်။
The reason why you should avoid indolent people is that even if you have some sort of energy in the beginning, energetic in the beginning, if you associate with lazy people, you also will become lazy through association. That's why you are required to avoid indolent people. And the reason why you have to associate with energetic people is even if you possess some small amount of energy, if you associate with energetic people, and by listening, by staying with him or discussing with him, you become more energetic. And then the reason why you have to study and learn things which will lead to energy is that by learning and listening and studying those which instill, which give energy, you will be convinced of the value of energy.
Now, Tatiya Osuga, Tatiya Mashida Bugu Shokiyame. The Titiya Piwara, the Titiya Shida Pugumani, Ponisasan Nikayame, Nabazo, the Titiya go to Boazi Dade, Sabago Lilayame, Teago Nakayame.
So the third group is about sati. One should abstain, from those who are not mindful, who lose mindfulness or who are not mindful at all. Avoid those who does not possess sati. And the second one is try to associate with mindful people. And thirdly, you should learn, study things which will cultivate mindfulness.
Tatiya Kimere Bugu Miaha Mapio de Darule, Suabido, Piomitade, Malote Darule, Suabido, Lumitade. A Mimia Alibugumiane, Suabido, Ninikaka Nikayasuro, who level at the Tatiya Kimere Buguri, Pido Pusabido, Pilatavare, Daya, Tatiya, Pashida, Obo Sasa, Nidade, Bugu Miago, something good to Avare.
The reason why you should abstain from unmindful people is that if you're not mindful, if you don't pay attention, then you may be doing, saying, or thinking wrong. And if you associate with such people, because such people are not mindful, you become slack and tend to lose mindfulness.
Go there to the Bogore, chicken Lilla Yavare, the Chogumia, the Titia Alonere, Lonero, Tora Lanaka, Sato de Camale, the Titia, နဲ့တဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်အမှားကြီးမပါဘူးအမှားကြီးမရှိဘူးအဲ့ဒါတွေလည်းပဲမိမိတို့ချင်းချင်းတက်ထားလို့ရပါတယ်
So you can verify with your own practice. You can compare your mindfulness, intensity of practice with others. If you may see some people who are not so mindful while moving about, eating and so on, you can always see that they are not mindful. So better avoid those people who are not mindful.
သူတရားတတိတရားပြီးသွားတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ကိုနဲ့ပေါင်းနေဆက်ဆံမယ်ဆိုတော့အရင်ကမိမိကတတိတရားအားနည်းနေတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ဖြစ်စေကမဟုတ်ဘူးတတိတရားကောင်းတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်နဲ့အတူတွဲနေရတော့အတူခိုးပြီးတော့ဒီပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ကတတိတရားတွေအမှန်တန်ကောင်းတာပဲငါလည်းဒီပုဂ္ဂိုလ်လိုနေထိုင်မှတော်မယ်ဆိုပြီးတော့ကိုယ်မှလည်းပဲဓာတ်သဘောအဖြစ်ကုဆယ်လာပြီးတော့တတိတရားတွေကိုမှကောင်းလာနိုင်တယ်တတိတရားကောင်းပြီဆိုရှင်တရားဘဝနာပွားများလာတဲ့အခါမှာလင်းလင်းမြန်မြန်တရားတွေထွတ်တက်လာနိုင်တယ်
The reason why you should associate with mindful people is that even if your mindfulness is weak, by associating with mindful people, you can emulate them so that you will progress in your practice.
Now, the titiyago chipwazi that the titiyago tuwazi that jago lila me so who asamaja yogi nya mani de tiago da the titiya ya adika upadana tiya ba be upadana simane so the titiya adika ba be da yana so yasin ko romyan ka pamada tiya appamada tiya lo nimi ho ta de appamada tiya soda ka tati anye shi da pamada soda ka tati main ni da တတိမြဲတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်တတိရှိတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်များမှာကုသိုလ်တရားဖြစ်လွယ်တယ်တတိမေးတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်များမှာကုသိုလ်တရားဖြစ်ဖို့ခရင်တယ်အကုသိုလ်တရားတွေဖြစ်များတတ်တယ်ဒါကြောင့်မို့တတိတရားကိုဖြစ်ပါစေတာတရားကိုနာကြရရင်ကိုယ်မှာအများကြီးအကျိုးရှိပါတယ်
Well, that point is to learn, study literatures, books which can increase mindfulness. So that by studying them, you'll be inspired and be able to undertake your practice with mindfulness, or more and more mindfulness. In the practice of vipassana, sati is in the main. There are two things, pamada and appamada, as propounded by the Buddha. Pamada means negligence, and appamada is diligence, or in a sense mindfulness, which can lead to the cultivation of skillful deeds. And as for pamada, which is negligence or failure to be mindful, then it's very difficult to practice good deeds, and one will practice more of unskillful deeds. Therefore, by listening or learning the literatures or talks which can increase, which can enhance your mindfulness, is very beneficial for you.
ဘာကြောင့်လဲဆိုတော့ဖြတ်ရှင်ရတတိတရားအရေးကြီးလို့ကိုဒီအပ္ပမဒဝဲမှာတတိတရားရှိသူဟာဘာတော့မှမသိရတော့ဘူးတဲ့တတိတရားမရှိသူတတိတရားကဲမဲ့တဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်တိုင်းလောကမှာသိရတယ်အဲ့တော့လူကမသိသူနဲ့သိသူအမျိုးရှိတယ်
The Buddha said that sati is very important. In the Appamada Vega, the section on diligence or mindfulness, the Buddha has propounded that those who possess mindfulness never die, whereas those who are not mindful die all the time. In this way, there are two kinds of people.
နယောဂီတွေမိတ်ကြီးဆိုကိုယ့်ကိုယ်ဖြစ်စိတ်ထက်ကြည့်ကြည့်ပေါ့မသိတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ကိုမြင်ခုပါသလားလို့မရင်ယောဂီတွေဘယ်လိုဖြေမလဲ
So suppose yogis ask themselves, or they ask this question: Have you seen deathless person, the one who never dies?
မသိဘူးဆိုတာဟာတတိပဋ္ဌာန်တရားကိုအပ္ပမဒတရားကိုလက်ကင်ထားပြီးတော့တတိတရားကိုလက်ကင်ထားပြီးတော့တတိပဋ္ဌာန်တရားကိုအစဉ်ပွားများသူဟာအရိယမဉ္ဇဉ်ဘုံဉာဏ်တွေရပြီးတော့ဘဝကုံဆုံးသွားတဲ့အခါမှာဒီပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ဟာသိဖို့ဘဝမရှိတော့ဘူးတဲ့အဲသိဖို့ဘဝမရှိအောင် Aradame Fu, Tiao Yabida Bukua, Priniban, Pugare Kama, Bawa Mashida Tujango, the Buku and Tamazia, Wakongwai. At the Bawakongwara, a few Diao later, a young one later at Kajaro, the Tidiave, Abamada, the Tidiago, Samajan Boamani, the Dojamo, the Handa Kedomule, the Handa Kedora Kajaro, Priniban, Sambi, and Bawa Musiro, Erago, Abamada, Tia Shiduha, the Tidia Shiduha. The
reason why the Buddha has propounded that there are such people as who never dies. If one practices Satipatthana, having this practicing apamada, diligence or mindfulness all the time, once one realizes the path consciousness and the fruit of liberation, then as one's body breaks up and dies, then especially one realizes the arahantship, the final consciousness, then one attains parinibbana, the great passing away, final passing away, after which there will be no more life, no more existence. Hence it is said that at this stage, after that, one has exhausted one's existence. There will be no more existence. One has come to the end of existence. So the cause lies in mindfulness, sati or apamada, diligence. They practice continuously. That is the practice of satipatthana, realizing the final stage of holiness, and with parinibbana, final passing away, one reaches the deathless state of nibbana. Hence, it is said that apamada, diligence or mindfulness, leads to the deathless. So since yogis are practicing satipatthana, apamada, continuously, they are inching, or sometimes some people are maybe fast moving towards the deathless state. So one day they are going to reach that stage, the stage of deathless. So one day they are bound to become a deathless person.
Now, Sarota also did that Samadhi Deya. Navade Samadhi Deya Mashida Buku Shankiyame. Navane Samadhi Deya Iware Bukumyane Pomi Sasayame. Navado Samadhi Tiago Chipo Zidade Tiago Najayame Lilayame.
So we come to this Samadhi group. Try and avoid those who do not possess Samadhi, and try to associate with those who possess Samadhi, and learn or study those literatures which can lead to Samadhi.
Navati Samadhi Teya Mashida Pugu Shankiyane Sura. Kone to the one it hang Teya Adole Pugu Ritama, the Kupu Samadhi Shivu, and a time a Toala appeals of Samadhi Piam Shivu, Tiki Mu Shivu, Edlo Samadhi Mashida Pugu Neko, Puto Nitai, Mimi Leve, Dai Kusavi Samadhi Mashida Pugu Kapana, Daya Samadhi Mashida Pugu Mel, something Pulu Avare.
The reason why you have to abstain from people who do not possess Samadhi is that you probably see some people who are not concentrated, always distracted, restless. And if you associate with such people, you also will become restless by associating with them and not being able to concentrate your mind. That's why you are asked, you need to avoid those people who lack Samadhi.
Vipadana Dinya, Aria Mapina Suraria, Samadhi Tiabama, we Kipola, the Tia Pita Begamu. Samadhi Tia Kamon, the Pugu Miangu, we wear Magani. Vipadana Dinya, Aria Mapinaria, Kipolama. Taya Samadhi, Diwara, Samadhi, Kone Pugumiane, Pong Sasa Niyayi, မိမိလည်းပဲသမာဓိတရားကောင်းတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်တွေဖြစ်ပြီးတော့ဝိပဿနာဉာဏ်အရိယာမဉ္ဇဉ်တရားတွေအများဆုံးဖြစ်ပေါ်လာနိုင်တယ်
Now this in the vipassana panya, to cultivate vipassana panya, mega panya, phala panya, one all these things depend on samadhi. Only when you have samadhi, one will be led to the awakening of knowledge. So you should associate with those people whose mind are concentrated in order to realize the path and fruition knowledge. Therefore, it is beneficial to associate with such people so that you also will emulate them and be able to concentrate your mind in order to realize the final goal of path consciousness.
သမာဓိမရှိတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ဖះဥပမာပေးရတာရှိတယ်မင်းရဲ့ကြောကုန်းပေါ်မှာသံဃာသီလုံးကိုသွားတင်တဲ့အခါကျတော့မင်းကြောကုန်းကဖုံးပြီးနေတဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မို့သံဃာသီလုံးလေးကိုလဲကထောလိုက်တဲ့တကြိမ်နဲ့မင်းကြောကုန်းပေါ်ကနေပြီးတော့သံဃာသီရဲ့အောက်လက်ကျသွားတာပါပဲအဲ့ဒီဥပမာမျိုးပဲတဲ့သမာဓိမရှိတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်များမှာဝိပဿနာပညာလည်းပဲမတည်မြဲဘူးဒါကြောင့်သမာဓိမရှိသူကိုရှောင်ရှားဖို့လိုအပ်တယ်သမာဓိရှိသူကိုသာပွင့်သိဖို့လိုအပ်တယ်
The example analogy given in the text is that when you put a piece of lime or lemon on the back of the horse, because the back of the horse is lumpy, and if you put on it, the lime or lemon will fall down at once, because it will not stay there. So also, if you associate with people whose mind are not concentrated or restless, then you will not be able to cultivate vipassana panya. You are bound to fall off from this vipassana practice. Therefore, it is advised that you abstain from associating with those people who lack samadhi, and instead associate with those people who possess samadhi.
သမာဓိမရှိသူကိုနောက်ဥပမာတစ်ခုဘုရားကပေးထားပါသေးတယ်ကြည်ကန်းတကောင်ဟာသမင်ခဲကိုခြီးပြီးတော့ပြန်လာတဲ့အခါကျတော့ခွေးကမြင်တယ်မြင်တော့ကြည်ကန်းနောက်ကိုခွေးကလိုက်သွားတော့သက်ကိုက်တစ်ခုပေါ်မှာသွားနားတဲ့အခါကျတော့အောက်ကခွေးကကြည်ကန်းကိုသူကမြှောက်ပြီးတော့ပြောတယ်အရှင်ကြည်မင်းဟာလှလဲလှတယ်ချောလဲချောတယ်ကမ္ဘာလောကကြီးမှာငှက်တွေထက်မှာရှင်ကြည်မင်းလောက်လှတာမရှိဘူးလို့ပြောပြီးတော့နှုတ်ပိတ်ပြီးသွားပြောတဲ့ခါကျတော့ကြည်ကန်းရဲ့နှုတ်တိထက်မှာခြိထားတဲ့သမင်ကဟာကြည်ကန်းကသဘောကျပြီးတော့ဝန်းသွားပြီးတော့ကာအော်ရဲ့ခါကျတော့သူပစားတဲ့ကနေပြီးတော့နှုတ်တိထက်ကနေတော့သမင်ကအောက်ကြားသွားတော့ခွေးရသွားစားရတယ်အဲ့ဒီဥပမာမျိုးပဲတဲ့သမာဓိမရှိတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်ဟာသူများနဲ့ပေါင်းပြီးဆက်ဆံတဲ့အခါမှာကောင်းမကောင်းကိုသိမသိကိုနားမလဲဘူးတဲ့ကိုယ်ကိုချိမြောက်ပြီးတော့ပြောသလားရှုပ်ချပြီးတော့ပြောသလားဆိုတော့ဘာမှနားမလဲတဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မို့သူများတွေကကိုယ်ကိုလာပြီးတော့ဂုံပြူပြီးစကားပြောတဲ့အခါကျတော့တဲ့သမာဓိမရှိတဲ့ပုဂ္ဂိုလ်များဟာမပြုတ်တာတွေပြုတ်တတ်တယ်မလုပ်ပြတာတွေလည်းလုပ်တတ်တယ်အဲ့ခါကျမိမိမှာဆွေးရုပ်ပြည့်တတ်တယ်
Analogy given in the text about samadhi is the story of this crow. One crow had picked up a lump of food, say some rice, the grains of rice thrown somewhere, and it picked up this food in its beak. And that was noticed by a dog, which also wanted to take this food. So the dog followed the crow, which at last rested on a branch. While it was resting on a branch, the dog was underneath, and it flattered the crow. Of course, that is that the talk of the animals, fables, believe it or not. So the dog flattered the crow, saying that you are so beautiful. There's no other beautiful
You are the most beautiful among all the birds that I know of. There's none as beautiful, as pretty as you are. So at that, the crow was flattered, and it opened its mouth to call, and then because it was very flattered and delighted, it opened its beak, and naturally the food fell down, so that the dog can take it. So also, if similarly, those people who have no samadhi, no concentration, but restless, like the crow, will do things which should not be done, will say things which should not be said, and not knowing whether they are flattered or denigrated, because their mind is restless, they will do things which should not be done. And so that if you associate with such people, you are bound to suffer. Like the crow losing its food because it was flattered, not being wise enough, not being concentrated enough, samadhi is disrupted if you associate with such people who lack samadhi. Excuse me. If you associate with those people who are always indulging in conversations, talking, you also will talk, join in, and so that you disrupt your samadhi, become restless. So as just like the crow losing its food because it is restless, one should not associate with those people who have no samadhi. Only with samadhi there will be jnana. Without samadhi there cannot be any jnana. And also it is advisable to study or learn literatures, things which can develop samadhi.
Now, I think that Mashida Bukumiago Shankshame, Shankiyame. I think that Kiwara Bukumiane, only Sasani Tayame. So, I think that Diago Pipo Zidade, Diago, Najayame, Lilayame.
Now, the fifth group is about penya. One should abstain, not associate those people who do not possess penya, and associate with those who possess penya, and learn and study things which can develop penya.
Bayadora, a pipinya, Kenda Buku, a pipinya, Mashida Buku Miaha, Kudo Tiago, Pupo Mulegu. Taja a pipinya, Mashida Buku Miana, to a pony Satan, Kuma Leve, Kudo Diadi, Shepherd Davare. Taja a pipinya, Mashida Buku, Sakin Putu Ade.
You should avoid those who do not possess penya, because if you don't possess penya, it is not easy to cultivate skillful deeds. So it is advisable not to associate with such people, so that it will become easy for you to develop skillful deeds.
Pinya Piwara Bukumiane, Pony Satan Nitayayi, Mimi Maleve, a pipinya di Dolare. Ayaya Maleve, a pipinya Dolare Drajamu, Quadaka, Lodaka, Nea Tangi, Sasaya, Lucky Locutara, Tiaru Leve, Pinya, Chikambira, Puma, Dugola, Daya, a pipinya, Piwara Bukumiane, Pony Satan, Puma Latina, Dugoja, Tampibari.
The reason why you have to associate with those who possess penya is you can copy their examples whenever you associate with them through their behaviors, physical behaviors, verbal behaviors, because based on penya, you're bound to reap benefits in terms of worldly and spiritual matters. Therefore, it is advisable to associate with those who possess panya.
ပညာကိုဖြစ်ပွားစေတတ်တဲ့တရားတော်ကိုလေ့လာရမယ်နာကြားမယ်ဆိုတော့ကိုဆရာတော်သားကြီးကယောဂီတွေနေတိုင်းပဲဒီအသိဝိပဿနာပညာအရိယမပညာဖြစ်ပေါ်စေတတ်တဲ့တရားတွေကိုအခြေခံနေပြီးတော့စပြီးတော့ဟောပြနေတာပါပဲအဲ့တော့ပညာကိုဖြစ်ပေါ်စေတတ်တဲ့တရားကိုကိုကနာကြားရရင်တရားကိုလုံလာတဲ့ခန္ဓာတွေကိုမှတိုးပေါ်လာတဲ့အတွက်ကြောင့်မို့ညွှန်ကြားတဲ့အတိုင်းကျက်သွားတဲ့အခါမှာအသိဉာဏ်ပညာတွေတရားတွေကိုမှတိုးပေါ်ပြီးတော့လာတယ်နာကြားခြင်းကလည်းတိုးပေါ်လာတယ်တရားကိုရှုမှတ်ခြင်းကလည်းပဲဉာဏ်ပညာတိုးပေါ်လာတယ်အဲ့ဒီအကျိုးတရားတွေဟာကိုမှဖြစ်ပေါ်လာပါတယ်ဒါကြောင့်ပညာကိုဖြစ်ပေါ်စေတတ်တဲ့တရားကိုနာကြားဖို့လေ့လာဖို့လိုအပ်ပါတယ်
Now you should listen to talks which can cause panya. Now you are daily listening talks given by Sayadaw, which deal with the basic means leading to vipassana panya, mega panya, phala panya, so that by listening to them, you'll be encouraged, inspired, and then you increase your general knowledge about this. Therefore, by listening to the talks in this way, you can develop panya.
ခုပြောလာတဲ့တရား15ပါးယောဂီတွေရှေ့ကနာပြုတာတရားတွေပါပဲသိပြုတာတရားတွေပါပဲသဘောတရားအဖြစ်သာလင်ခုတရားတစ်ပုဒ်အနေနဲ့ဟောသွားရတယ်ဒါအရင်ကနာကြားပြုတာတရားတွေပါပဲ
So these 15 ways leading to arahantship or realization, to realization, is nothing new. It is already heard and understood by you people. The only thing is it is rearranged in another way.
အဲ့ဒီတရားဆိုတာကတတ္တဝိရိယတတိသမာဓိပညာဆိုတာအိန္ဒြေ5ပါးပါပဲအိန္ဒြေ5ပါးတရားဆိုတာဟာယောဂီများနာကြားပြီးသားပါပဲ5ပါးမှာတပတ်လင်3ပါးစီ3ပါးစီပွားတဲ့ခါကျတော့15ပါးဖြစ်သွားတယ်အဲ့ဒီ15မျိုးသောတရားဟာယောဂီတိုင်းမှာပြီးွားရမယ်တရားတွေအဲ့ဒီတရားပြီးွားသွားပြီဆိုရှင်မကြိုက်ကန်တရားရတာပါပဲ
These 5 things are 5 faculties, namely Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. The five faculties, Indriyas, and then each is divided into 3 parts, so that it makes 15, which is useful for the yogis in their practice.
အခုရှင်းပိုင်းတရားပြီးသွားပြီတရားထူကြလို့တော့ဆိုတော့တရားထူရသည့်တတ်တရား15ပါးတရားပြီးသွားပြီနောက်ပိုင်းမှာခုနပြောလာခဲ့တဲ့မသိ3ခုသိတစ်ခုဆိုတဲ့တရားကိုဆက်ပြီးဟောပေးမယ်
So this much about this 15 means ways leading to the realization of knowledge. Now we go to the second part. That is 3 things of ignorance and 1 thing of knowledge. 1 kind of knowledge and 3 kinds of ignorance.
ခုနဟောလာခဲ့တဲ့တရား15ပါးကိုရှင်ရဟုလကိုမြတ်စွာဘုရားဟောကြားတော်မူတဲ့အခါမှာဒေသနာတော်ရဲ့အဆုံးမှာပဲအဲ့ဒီအိန္ဒြေ5ပါးနဲ့ဆက်စားပြီးတော့မြတ်စွာဘုရားဟောတော်မူတဲ့အခါမှာရှင်ရဟုလယဟန္တာဖြစ်တော်မူပါရဲ့
Now going back to just this 15 the first talk, after listening to this 15 ways to the realization of arahantship, at the end of the talk, Rahula, at the end of the talk of his 5 indriyas, 5 faculties, Rahula became an arahant.
ခုဟောတဲ့ခုဟောနောက်ပိုင်းဟောမှတရားတော့အဲ့ဒီရှစ်ပိတ်ဟောတဲ့တရားနဲ့ဆက်သမှုမရှိဘူးလို့
Because the second part has no relationship with the first part.
ဒါမှလည်းပဲကိုယ့်အကိုဆက်သလို့ရှိရင်တော့ရပါတယ်
But you can make it, you can try to relate in some way, because all these subjects are related in one way, leading to the same goal, that is Nibbana.
မြတ်စွာဘုရားအာလဝိပြည်ကိုအာလဝိမျိုးကိုကြွလာတော်မူတဲ့အခါမှာမြို့သူမြို့သားများကဘုရားမှုရှိတဲ့သံဃာတော်များကိုမြို့လက်တဲ့နေရာမှာကျင့်ဝတ်တဲ့နေရာမှာဆွန်ကွန်ကပ်ပြီးတော့တရားနာကြကြပါတယ်
At one time, as the Buddha traveled to a place called Alavi, I forgot the modern name of that city. Together with his retinue, he came to this wide place, spacious area in this town, Alavi, and the residents, the people of this area, offered food dana and listened to the talk given by the Buddha.
Main prisa dui, sethe prisa dui, kongda prisa dui, sashi da prisa dui, emadama soma le, ai tia boji ma.
This audience made up of different levels, different stratas of the people.
Ai chain ma be, yakan yo go twa ho, ai ga thwet la de, yakan di anyuthami li te u le. Yakan ne sisa de sisi we go tong the ma thait bi do, ai tong le go ywe bi do, ai ga ni bi do thwet la, yakan yo go twa de kha ma, ai tia bwe ji go tia bwe ji ani go yauk twa ba le.
At that time, it also happened one weaver girl was going to her weaving machine, a weaving house, together with all the equipments to weaving equipments in a basket, and carrying that, she happened to be near that meeting, near that Dhamma meeting.
Hello, Parisa, at the one video, Payashin go to Fumia Akama. Payashin a leve, Google Mio Vio, Kidong Vare, Payaga. Payaga Kidong Murago, Little Miga, neither the Jamo, or Payashin and Lago, Lazi Luret, Sanda Shida Vare, so you know, to see that the Jamo. That's what Payashin can to Miu Vaviro, Tangware.
Actually, she was casually passing by. And when she got to the fringe or edge of this audience, and she looked at the Buddha, and also the Buddha happened to look at her. And they met each other, they saw each other, and the girl thought, oh, the Buddha is looking at me while he was giving a talk. That means that he wants me to come and listen to the talk. So he approached this audience.
Amatan Kije, Gongzi, Shide, Prisa, Ship Baima, Shinya Leve, Eddie Prisa Tani, Shabido, a Prisa Tani with a Shabido when loyal, Fashion Tango.
So, although this audience is made up of high level social people, people of high social status, she just went through them to go as close as possible to the Buddha.
Mama, I knew the meat of Uga and Vito. The main break that the tip that you Shabito when I come. See that Yana Pizzadia, I knew the meal, I am Sabito, one Kijare.
So, because this ordinary young woman was coming through the crowd, to come as close as possible to the Buddha, the audience naturally was curious. So, they watched at her.
Eddie Chema, Fashion, Yoni, the Mudim Yasaration, Yadana Sunku Meware, Eddie made a Fatana Sunku, Diana Bizamia, Kuago, Satan, Vido, Sensabio, Chipe, Luare.
So at that, the Buddha asked 3 questions to this young woman, and now the yogis can think the answers to these questions by themselves.
The Piazana Migon Lepu Leve, Diana Bizamia.
And just keep in mind these problems, 4 problems.
Navati, saying Brega la the le Meva.
The first one is, where do you come from?
Navati, saying Brego Tuama le Meva.
And where are you going to?
Navato, saying Matibu la Meva.
And the third one is, don't you know?
Namale, saying Siva the la Meva.
The 4th one is, do you know?
To be that it be only Kujavi, no?
So you get these questions now. Where do you come from? And where are you going? And don't you know? Or do you know? These 4 questions.
Any Jazana Lego, Megon Lego made a kama, a main at Pigo, Pianito Pioma, Nabate, and Piome. Bayagala the Lelo, Odaga made on Mudakama, Adi Mudamilega, Maziva Payalu Pie.
So as to the first question, the question was posed by the Buddha was, where do you come from? And the answer is, I don't know.
Edo Paridagia, the Klimali, to Engala, Tepali in it. Payashingo, Blue Lobido, Purely by the Lelo, Paridagia, Makimana Chilare.
So at that, the audience was surprised because knowing she should have known that she had come from her house, from her home, and she should have answered that I have come from my house. So why did she say that she does not know? So the audience also wanted to know. They wondered why she was giving this kind of answer.
Buddha Paridai say you Ida Jamo to Tabido and Made. Bragala the Lelo, Nameda Kama, Maziva Pialo, Thing, Baja de Lupiava the Lelo, Piala, Yam Meda Kama. The Vilo Engala Sura, Ludenga Tivare, Diago, Massa Pachi, Mima, Mobus, a Pachi of Tivare, Bragala the Lelo, Meda Kama, Maziva Pialo, Piagin Janga, the Vilo, the Yakuja de Luboago, Brevoaga Lare Sura. The video Matiba, Dua Brevoaga and the video, the Lubogo Yola de Sura, to Matiba, Taja Matiba, Pialo, the video Piva,
So at that, of course, the Buddha knew what the audience was thinking about, that they were curious about the answer given by this young woman. So the Buddha asked another question. Why did you answer like this, that you don't know? At that, the young woman said that everybody knew that she was coming from a house, and the Buddha wouldn't have, the fully enlightened Buddha, the omniscient Buddha, would not have asked, knowing this. He must have asked, where, from which existence, from which life have I come here to be reborn as a human being? That must have been the question. So that was what the young woman
thought. The Patama may go on a Pia. Masiva Pia, so the Pia de Yamo, Matitia, Patama Uto the Kuba.
So the first answer that she gave was, I don't know. This is one answer, not knowing.
Dudia may go on a Pia, and Pia Masoshi. Brego Dhamma Lelo made a Kajaro, to a Masiva Pialo Pilated. The Prisagia, the claim Malaya, Ingani Vido, Yakayo, Torresura, Filiane, Masiva Pialo di Lupire, Vido, Prisagia, Makina Pinny. A Makina Pinny, the young Masavia, Dido Muda Jamo. Claim Ali, Pehama Lelo, Namida Kama, Masiva Pialo, the Baja di Lupiava the Lelo. Piaga, and Miro with a Kajaro. The Viro Maha, Yakan Yogo, Toare Tura, Ludenga Divare, Tago Nasa Jash and Mima Mogudo, the Viro Divare. Maziva Pialo, Piagin Janga, Di Boani Viro, Tivare Kama, Bevoago, Yamasura to Maziva, Taja to Maziva, Palo to Piagin, Jamshibare, Palo to Shout.
So this question, when the second question, when the Buddha asked, where are you going? The answer was also, I don't know. There's another not knowing. So, of course, everybody knows that she was heading for a weaving house, and the audience wondered why she did not answer that. She should have said that I'm going to the weaving house. So they were not happy about it. They are not satisfied with the answer given by this young woman. So the Buddha said, why do you answer that you don't know? I don't know where I'm going. So she said that everybody knows that I'm going to the weaving house. The Buddha, the omniscient Buddha, would not have asked, knowing that
I'm going to the weaving house. What he must have asked is, to which existence after this existence, when my body breaks up and dies, where I'm going, where will I be reborn? That must be the question that the Buddha wants to know. So with this, the second question, the answer was, I don't know, so another not knowing. So the Buddha said, don't you know? Then the young woman answered, yes, I know. How awkward is that? It's an awkward question, and again the audience was not satisfied with the answer. Before she said she did not know, now she is saying she knows. So what is all this? What's happening with her? Is she mad or something? That sort of thing. Why this answer? So the young woman said that, well, one day I'm going to die. Maybe that's the question that the Buddha wants to know. So that's why I answered, I know it. So the fourth question was, do you know? Then the answer was, no, I don't. So another weird answer. So again the audience was very surprised. Why giving this answer? Before she said she knew, now she says she doesn't know. What's happening with this young woman? Is she mad? Has she gone mad or something? So the Buddha, knowing the mind of these people, the Buddha said, why do you answer like this? Why do you say, when I ask, do you know, you answer, you don't know? So she said, the Buddha must have asked, which existence, which life am I going to be reborn in from this life? That's why I said, I don't know to which existence I'll be reborn in. That's why I answered that I don't know. That was the answer given by the young woman. So out of these four questions, the four answers in the four questions of the Buddha, and the four answers given by this young woman, the first answer, the second, and the fourth answers were not knowing. She says she doesn't know. As for the third answer to the question, she said she knows. So there are three unknowing and one knowing. So
Sayadaw wants an answer from you. Where do you come from? Where are you going? And don't you know? And do you know? These 4 questions. Do you have answers?
So
how's the answer? So are these questions and answers correct? Do the answers tally with the questions given posed by the Buddha? Or they are in keeping with the questions given by the Buddha? Or they are just absurd or unbecoming answers? So Sayadaw will ask these 4 questions just like the Buddha asked, and also you can answer just like the young Buddha girl answered. You have the same answer, just like this young woman, and see how. So he will ask now, after you. Where do you come from? Don't know. Don't matiu. Where are you going? Don't you know? Do you know? I don't know. So you know that one day you are going to die, because death is certain, life is uncertain. So if you do good deeds, just such as the practice of Satipatthana, you are moving or leading, you're going towards good destinies. And if you die without the practice of good deeds, such as the Satipatthana, then you will not reach good destinies. So, being able to understand your own existence and wishing to reach good destinies, may you all be able to practice Satipatthana fully and satisfactorily, and be able to become persons who know where they are going. That's all for today. That's all for today. That's all for today. That's all for today.